Hello you guys, and welcome back to my channel. Oh, hi Indy. In today's video, I'm going to show you all the fun plants that I picked up. Well, not that I picked up, but that I was gifted during this holiday season. Ryan just walked by. I thought it would be a great way to share it with you. I love plants, and apparently the people closest to me also know that. And so because of that, I was gifted some very fun ones. Most of them I won't be able to pick up to show you because they're quite large. Are you really captivated by what I'm saying? Wow. But I will be able to show you by hand one of them. Otherwise, I'll be doing kind of like a little clip insertion of them. I hope you guys have had a wonderful holiday season. I spent the holidays with my family, primarily baking an excessive amount of cookies, like crazy amounts of cookies, probably like somewhere in the hundreds. And I made, I think, around 5 or 6 different types. So it was delicious. Not the best for my waistline or really anyone else's, but it was a lot of fun, and I mean, I love baking, so it's like a holiday tradition. So let's start things off with the smallest plant that I was gifted. I've had my eye on this plant for a while. It is the ginger shell plant, and how funky is this? It's like this beautiful. It's like this beautiful yellowy banana colored mixed with this like fun pop of green. It's not a very deep green. It's kind of like somewhere in between forest and tennis ball. That's kind of how it looks to me, at least. It's beautiful. This is a sun-loving plant, so this is not one that you're going to want to stick in, you know, the nooks and crannies of your house per se, but it's it can stand partial shade, but it's going to be happiest in full sun. It is also a humid-loving plant, so the edges will start to turn kind of brown if it's not in a humid enough environment, or if it's not getting an. Indy, what are you eating? Ooh. He was eating like a piece of bark. No, you cannot have the piece of bark back. I also heard that they can grow up to like 8 feet tall unless it's a dwarf variety, in which case it'll be about 1 foot tall. So I'm curious to see. This doesn't say whether or not it's a dwarf or not. It simply says variegated ginger. So I'm gonna hope that it's one of the 8-footers, because how crazy would that be to see, like in like, oh gosh, how many years would that take? Probably like 6 or 7 years to see it like whoop, grow like that. I would love it. Next up, we have one heck of a monster plant to show you. It's an elephant ear alocasia, and it is beautiful. The leaves on it are kind of like, it's right next to me, but again, it's huge, so I can't really show you. Actually, I might be able to scooch it over a little bit, just so you can kind of have it in shot, but I'll also insert the clip. The texture on the leaves are kind of almost fabric-like, in the sense that they're kind of thicker, they're a bit softer, and they don't have kind of like a rigid feel to it. It's a bit rubbery or like latexy. It's not, you know, like cotton fabric. It's kind of more like a, well, silicone-y, latexy kind of material. Although it's a plant, it has nothing to do with plastics at all, but I'm just trying to give you a perspective on how it feels, because it's crazy. But I love it. These things get huge. And like, I know how I always talked about like this one begonia, the U309, that gets massive, but this one truly gets massive. So it loves kind of like filtered bright light. It does not want to be directly in front of the window, so I'm going to actually scoot him back, but I scooted him over here for the purposes of the video. It's a little bit more shade loving. It definitely is another tropical plant. He loves humidity, so if you have a humidifier or you naturally live in a more humid environment, your plant is going to be. Indy, what are you doing? Can you please not do that? We're gonna get to that plant next, I promise. I love you too. What the heck was I talking about? But yeah, it's a beautiful plant, and I am so excited to repot it and have it be integrated into my little plantaroonie family. The third plant that I was gifted is a lady palm. It's a beautiful, oh hi. palm. It's pretty darn tall. It has these really fun splits to it. I plan to kind of keep it over in where I'm gonna have the nursery. I would love to have it out like in my main plant area just for the purposes of me staring at it every single day. No, you can't just walk away with these things in your mouth. So the lady palm likes partial sunlight to some shade. The texture of the leaves is kind of very like sturdy and rigid, and the leaves themselves can get pretty darn long, like 8 to 12 inches long. So that's fun for like a fan looking palm. Palms are pretty easy in the sense that they can withstand both humid as well as drier climates. So they're a really great statement plant for a lot of plant beginners as well as plant experts because they're so relatively easy to care for. Even their soil requirements are pretty flexible, to be honest with you, because you don't necessarily need to have like a super well draining soil like you might with like a snake plant, but you also don't have to like monitor it as heavily as like, let's say, a calathea. They're kind of like somewhere in the middle, but they're still so striking that it's like, it's not gonna be looked over. The final plant I am so excited to share with you because it has been on my wish list for so long. If you saw my first ever plant tour, then you'll know that I've actually had this plant before. Well, not really. I've had the split leaf philodendron, which is similar but not equal to the Monstera Deliciosa, which is what I have now. It's huge, it's beautiful, and I am so excited to add it to my collection. I quite literally jumped up and down when I brought it home. It was, and still is, I mean, it's right in front of me. I'm staring at it, and it's gonna be in my next version of my plant reorganization video. If you haven't seen that, it's when I reorganized basically, well, this entire background behind me, which by the way, yay! If you haven't seen the video where I reorganized it all, feel free and click it. I'll provide the link down below as well as probably a pop-up somewhere up here. But I'm gonna be reorganizing the wall that I'm facing right now as well because, well, it needs to be reorganized. I have a lot of plants that need to kind of have a better home than just kind of like bam, you know what I'm trying to say? So that's gonna be definitely the statement piece in my next reorganization, and I'm so excited because it's so beautiful. I can't wait for it to mature even more and develop the classic like little Monstera holes in it because right now it's still a little bit young, and so because of that it doesn't have the standard holes that go with like the really mature Monstera Deliciosa. So I'm so excited! So that wraps up all the plants that I was gifted for this holiday season. Please let me know if you were gifted any as well, or if you just happened to pick some up during this holiday season. Otherwise, I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to thumbs up and subscribe.